you have to buy an enema kit that comes with these weird tubes. Hello, lovely friends. How are you doing today? I'm doing well. Thanks very much for asking. It's Rebecca, John's girlfriend over here in Kentucky. One of you lovelies said that it might be nice if I do a video on what I'm doing to prepare for John's impending arrival in British Invasion 2.0 over the holidays. But I thought maybe it would be kind of interesting to get to know me a little bit. So I thought I'd try my hand at some YouTubing all on my lonesome. John is currently having dinner with his dad and Bev, so he FaceTimed me at one point, but it shouldn't interrupt this video. Why am I an Anglophile? I think it's in my DNA, although I do have a cousin Valerie who's not a monarchist. We don't talk about it. My family, I have a Scotch-Irish background. My mother's family, the Mercers, come from Scotland. They were recorded in Inverness, in my mental map. Inverness is here, as early as the 1100s, and then at some point migrated to the United States. They have their own tartan. My father's side of the family, so my paternal grandmother, her mother's family, the Sorrels, and Valerie can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was from the Sorrels, that we had an ancestor who came over on the Mayflower and was a governor on the Mayflower. I think he was removed as governor for having fudged the ledger and stolen some rations. He was also described as being red-faced and drunk. That sounds a lot more like my mother's family. So my grandmother's father's side, the Kissicks, come from Dublin and Derry, and came over early 1800s and changed their surname from McKissick to Kissick to avoid discrimination against the Irish. Someone can explain to me in the comments how this works, because I'm not really sure. They don't have their own tartan, but they have rights to Clan Campbell to wear that tartan. So my grandparents are and were some of my favorite people in the entire world. And I was lucky enough to grow up near them. They were just built-in babysitters. Summer break from school, grandparents. Snow day, grandparents. Mom has to work on a Saturday, grandparents. Loved spending time with my grandparents. We did what a lot of grandparents like to do, which is watch public broadcasting, brought to you by viewers like you. In Kentucky, it's called KET, and so I grew up watching a lot of imports like Keeping Up Appearances, Ab Fab, Coupling, Mr. Bean, Monty Python, Poirot. There will only ever be one Hercule Poirot, and that is David Suchet. Then as I got a little older, I was part of the Spice World Revolution. Still want that Union Jack dress. I had the Barbies, I had the autograph book, I had posters, all the CDs, and cassette tapes. I have the movie on Blu-ray, originally on VHS. We had the magazine. There was a Girl Power magazine based on the Spice Girls, and on the back there was a recipe for chocolate chip biscuits, which I wish I still had. That was sort of my first exposure to the fact that Brits call cookies biscuits. We took a school trip to a bookstore, because in Kentucky that's what you do. You take school trips to bookstores. And while all the other kids were buying Goosebumps or comic books, I was buying a thick volume on the 6 Wives of Henry VIII. I loved British history, still love British history. I find it all so interesting. And that just carried on through my adult life. And so now I watch the shows that everybody watches. PBS still has things like Doc Martin, Are You Being Served, Vicar of Dibley. There was actually a crisis. My papa's cable carrier changed, and they no longer carried KET2, which had a lot of his favorite British imports. I saved the day. I brought a set of rabbit ears. Now Papa can watch his favorite shows.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
I watch the mainstream stuff.
Then Becca went off on a slight tangent, talking and ranting about TV shows. I think we could probably time this and see how long it goes on for. Here we go.
I like Doctor Who, Call the Midwife, Bake Off, which we're not allowed to call it Bake Off in the States because Pillsbury has an exclusive copyright or trademark on the term Bake Off, so it has to be the Great British Baking Show. Peaky Blinders, I love all the big ones. 10 is my doctor. But I watched kind of the lesser known shows over here, the IT Crowd, Happy Valley, Last Tango in Halifax, really anything with Nicola Walker. Vexed, I thought was really funny. I know this guy who was in a show called Glue. It's pretty good. You should check that out. Friday Night Dinners, The In-Betweeners. If it's British, I'll watch it. I love Richard Ayoade. I would watch Richard Ayoade do just about anything and would find it hilarious. He is my second favorite British comedian. John is my first favorite British comedian. British comedies, British dramas, I just prefer them to American television. Even British reality TV shows, like game shows. 8 out of 10 Cats does Countdown. Love that show. Started watching it with John. We can't get it over here. It's not on any of our streaming services.
Editor's note, it's now available on BritBox. Yes! Yes!
So we have to watch it over there. I love Taskmaster. It's so much more entertaining and clever than most American television shows. I feel like I got off on a tangent. I'm just ranting about TV.
1 minute, 25 seconds. Not bad.
I started following the Brexit issue around the time of the referendum, and I've followed it ever since because I feel like it's just so much less depressing than our local news at home. Like, I would rather watch Boris Johnson talk about anything than watch Donald Trump talk about anything. I traveled to the UK in 2018 all by my lonesome. I flew into Manchester, took the train to York, stayed in York for several days, had a really good time. It was rainy, which was perfect, and I loved it. It was a beautiful city. Then I took the train to Bath, which I would never do again. Never again will I take a train route that requires 2 changes. And never again will I change trains through Birmingham. So, spent a few days in Bath. My favorite thing on my trip was coming back to my hotel room at the end of a rainy day, turning up the radiator, getting in bed with my hot water bottle, which we don't have here. You can't just go to the store and buy a hot water bottle. You have to buy an enema kit that comes with these weird tubes to get like just this small hot water bottle. So I bought a hot water bottle at the Highgrove shop in Tetbury, and I still take it to bed with me when I'm cold. We need to get behind that here. I mean, it's so easy. I love a hot water bottle, and I could just lay in bed and watch TV, and that is how I found Dave.
Dave?
Dave is the greatest channel.
Oh, Dave.
I really wish I had a way to stream Dave here. It's how I found Have I Got News for You? And so, already I liked BBC News. I can stream Sky News worldwide on Pluto TV on my Roku. And I would rather watch that and watch Press Preview. I got more coverage of important issues like the California wildfires. They had way more coverage on that than any news channel in the United States. And Have I Got News for You? We watch it every week. I've gotten John to watch it again. I think he hadn't watched it since he was a kid. And I love Eating His Slop. Actually, when I was in the UK, picked up my copy of Private Eye. Once I visited the UK, I felt like I was at home. I belong on this island of introverts. I like the mentality. A lot of it matches up with our Southern values. This sense of politeness and obligation to save face and not hurt someone's feelings. I feel like all that really matches up. When I joined Date British Guys, I thought, well, I don't expect to meet the love of my life, but maybe I can just meet someone and have a conversation about what's happening with knife violence in London and what's going on with Brexit. What are your thoughts on that? And what do you like on television? What should I be watching? Because I love these shows and I want to see more shows with Nicola Walker in them. I watched The Split on BBC when I was in the UK, and that's why I got my Alex Monroe baby B. So when I got on Date British Guys and I met John, I really enjoyed just the conversation. It's so hard to find a relationship where you can have good conversation with somebody and shared interests. And our first conversation was 10 hours. And we never ran out of things to talk about because, you know, I'm interested in his culture, he's interested in my culture. We can ask each other questions. You know, he's following the news here, I follow the news there. We're both informed and just share a lot of the same interests. And so we had a lot of that in common. It was nice. It was just refreshing to meet somebody like that. And it turns out I do meet the love of my life on Date British Guys. Like, I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. Anyway, that's a little bit about me and a little bit about why I am the way I am and how I met John the way that I did. There's so much ground I didn't cover in this video. I didn't even discuss Kate Middleton. I love Kate Middleton. I try to replicate when I can. I've always loved the royal family, and not just for like entertainment value, but like I love the Queen. The Queen reminds me of my grandmother, and every time I tell somebody that, they're like, why? I love seeing the Queen giggle at like a cow, or like the fact that there's a horse that doesn't like her and that she doesn't like. All of those little quirks remind me of like the very personal conversations that I used to have with my grandmother before she passed. And when I see the Queen and I see her like emoting and laughing, it just reminds me of those moments that I would have with Grandma where she would just say something so funny. It's those little interactions that make me think of her. Anyway, style icon, mommy icon, and just like life icon. She can't do wrong in my eyes. I love her. Anyway, okay, that is how and why I became an Anglophile and joined Date British Guys. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a little like, subscribe if you're new. Bye!